It's very small, simple topic. Creating OData service, uh, importing what? Search help. Creating OData service, importing search help. Okay, so we have seen creating OData service by creating the entity manually, uh, by importing based on what RFC, by importing what DDIC structure. Okay, similarly we can create the OData service importing the search help. So there are some restrictions for this. Okay, so if you want to create the OData service importing the search help, there are some constraints, I mean to say restrictions. Search help should be what? Elementary search help. Search help should be elementary search help. Okay, search help should be elementary search help, and search help should return max of 9,900 entries. Okay, search help should return max of 9,000 entries, and search help should be local to what? SAP system. Search help should be local to SAP system. Okay, and what else? If the search help is associated, if the search help is associated with search help exit, okay, if the search help is associated with search help exit, the search help exit function should not call any UIs, I mean to say screens, should not call any screens in their implementation. Okay, so these are some of the restrictions we need to follow whenever you are creating the OData service importing what? Search help. It should be elementary search help. It should return it can return, I can say it can return maximum of what? 9,000 entries, and it should be local to SAP system. It should not be remote, I mean to say. And if the search help is associated with search help exit, the search help exit function should not call any UIs in their implementation. Okay, so these are some of the restrictions we need to ensure when you are creating the OData service importing the search help. So first of all, if you go to that, let us identify some search help. There are many search helps in SAP system. So this can be either user defined or what? System defined. It can be any search help, standard search help or custom search help. One second. Yeah. So if you go to SC11, I'll take one search help related to the flights. Yeah, you can see we have one search help, brf underscore sh underscore custom id, any search help. Okay, you need not worry about what it is. So you can take any search help. So this is one of the search help, brf underscore sh underscore custom id. Yeah, you can see here. This is a search help for what? Flight customers. Okay, it is a search help for flight customers, and you can see this is what kind of search help? Elementary search help. Okay, and you can see it is not having any search help exit. Even if it is having search help exit, search help exit is nothing but a function module. Okay, so in that function module, it should not call any UIs, means it should not contain any statements like call screen or what, set screen. In module pool, how do you call the screen? Call screen or what, set screen. It should not call any screens in their implementation, because the NetWeaver Gateway Service Builder, the NetWeaver Gateway Service Builder cannot validate the UIs, means that particular screens might contain what, some validations. So this NetWeaver Gateway Service Builder cannot validate the UIs. So these are some of the restrictions we need to follow, right? So this elementary search help. Okay, yeah, the selection method is S custom, it seems done. So let me create use it in the OData service. So let us quickly create a project, SEGW. Right, let us create a project. Right, let me save it in the local object. This is a project which got created, Z645 project 10. Now first we need to create what, entity type. So I'll right click on the data model, create, or I'll say what, import. Understood? So here we have what, search help, import search help. Yeah, here it is asking the entity type name. So you can give any name. Let me give the name as something what, flights, anything. Okay, import what, search help, import search help. Yeah, let me give the search help name. What is that? Just now we collected brf underscore sh underscore custom id. Yeah, brf underscore sh underscore custom id. Understood? To create the default entity set. Right, I'll say next. Yeah, you can see here that search help might contain what, some parameters. So one of the parameters is what, result underscore. Yes, this is a parameter which will return what, search help results table. So if I expand this, it has got some three fields. So let me select all these three fields. I'll say what, next. Select the required parameters, say next. Done. So these are your what, key properties. I'll make id as what, key property. I'll say what, finish. Customer number is what, key property. I'll say finish. Done. It is created. Entity type imported what, successfully. It is giving the warnings because the data type is what, different data types. Okay, if you take all of them as strings, you can avoid this warnings also. Let me generate the artifacts. I'll save it in the local object. Yeah, they are generated. Now, already we know in the service implementation. So we have the entity set. This is the entity set proposed. BRF SH custom ID set. Okay. So if you expand this, we'll have what? Five what? Steps. We have some five steps. So what I'll do, I'll go to the mapping directly. Understood. So I want multiple records. So I'll go for this. Right. So anyhow we have imported based on what? Search help na. So I can directly do the mapping. Okay. So here this is your parameters. What I'll do is I'll just simply click on what? Propose mapping. So I'll just click on propose mapping. No mapping proposal found. Already they are mapped here. Already they are mapped. Okay, done. Then if you observe here also, already it is mapping is done. So if you double click on this, yes, mapping is what? Done. Is it clear? Since we imported, so it might have automatically done the mapping. That's it. Then since it has mapped, let me regenerate the runtime artifacts so that the dependent classes gets adjusted. Right. Now we need to what? Register and what? Maintain. So I click on the EP7 register. And it is mapped. Then let us maintain it. I click on this maintain. Yeah. Now let us query for the metadata. Yeah, I got it. Then I'll go to what? Entity sets. Yeah, BRFSH custom ID. This will invoke what? Get entity set, which will return what? All the entries. So when I execute, yeah, I can say I got the list of what? Entries. I got the list of entries. You can say I got the list of entries. Customer type, customer ID, customer name. Yeah, I got the list of what entries. Let me randomly take one of the ID. I've taken that. Before that, let me count how many entries I got. 4,637. So what is the restriction? It can return only what? 9,990. Even if it is having more than that, it will return only up to 9,990. Okay, then here let me query for a single record. So in the parentheses, what is the key field? ID. So I'll give that. When I execute, yeah, I got only that particular what customer ID 587. That's all. Understood? So nothing different here. So just we have created the OData service importing based on what? Search help. Okay, and the mapping is automatically done. So to summarize, this is the thing we have to remember. So what you can try is you can create your own collective search help. Try to create your own collective search help and try to create the OData service. It will not allow because the restriction is what? It should be only what? Elementary search help. Okay, and here you can see these are the overall these are very frequently used what? Query options. The OData query options supported by what? SAP network gateway belong to either of these categories. They are automatically available in the framework. No further actions needed by what? Development. Yeah. There are some query options which require what? Implementation. Okay, so for example, order by, we have seen the implementation for that. A dollar top, dollar skip, I believe last class, paging, right? And dollar filter. Am I clear? And if you see dollar expand, I said additional implementation not needed. It is not compulsory for dollar expand. Na? Already in the last class we have seen the analysis. Once you have done that navigation between entities, I can also use what? Dollar expand directly. But what happens if you don't implement those expanded methods? It will execute what? Two methods inside a loop, which is a performance issue. So, but here you can say it doesn't require any additional implementation. Dollar format means whether you want in XML format or JSON format, that one. Dollar count already we know. Dollar select, already I've shown you that. Dollar select is what? If you have 10 properties, if you want to return only few properties, you have to say dollar select equal to property 1 comma property 2, like that. So for these things we don't require any implementation. So interview point of view, they might ask you what are the query options which require implementation, which doesn't require implementation. These are some of them. Dollar value also doesn't require any implementation. When do you use dollar value? When you deal with media resources. I've shown you an example now. Image. If you want the image of a product, we have to use what? Dollar value. Am I clear? So this is a summary of the thing, right? So overall, if you see in this backend, whatever we discuss is more than sufficient. Okay, you will not get any questions outside this. Okay, so first we should know what? Crude operations, both by what? Mapping as well as what? Implementation. Always go for what? Implementation. And we know how to do the navigation between what? Entities. I have covered some 2-3 examples. Then we know about what? Function imports. Function imports, there are some function imports which may or may not return a value. So we have seen both the example, and we have seen what? How to work with what? Media resources. And in this folder, in the last week, we have discussed different query options like dollar expand, paging. What is paging? How do we achieve paging in what? OData. So all these miscellaneous concepts. So this is more than sufficient to say that we are strong in what? UI5 backend part. Understood? So if you are projecting only backend, this is more than what? Sufficient. But if you are projecting complete UI5, again we need to know about what? Front end part also. Right? So still if I get any other information, definitely I'll share that examples in 1 or 2 days. I'll send it through emails. Understood? So tomorrow onwards what we'll do is, most of you already attended the front end part except 1 or 2. So tomorrow onwards we'll see what? Integration between what? Front end and what? Back end. Assuming that we already know data binding, we already know how to use models in what? Front end. We assume that already we are strong in front end part. Directly we'll focus on what? Integration. Okay, so once we see a consolidated example, then we'll see how to develop your what? UI applications on what? Web ID. Then we'll see the introduction of Fiori and how to work with what? Standard Fiori applications, how to do the enhancements for what? Standard Fiori applications, and how do you configure that particular launchpad. Okay. So with that, we are done with what? Entire syllabus. Am I clear? And those who already attended, those who are joined what? For recently when you join the course, for them back end part is completed. Front end part, what I'll do is I'll just uh, for 4 to 5 days just practice this back end part. Next week I'll tell you the exact date when I'll start with the front end part from the scratch. Those who joined late like Abdul, Wells, Sunil. Okay, so for the next 4 5 days use this time for what? Practicing the back end part. Next week onwards, we'll start the front end from the beginning. I'll confirm the exact date in just couple of days. Okay, and others, you can continue to attend from tomorrow. We'll start with what? Integration. I hope it's clear to Sunil and Welts, Abdul, Prasad. Prasad is there? Yeah. Prasad Samas. Sunil, you any questions?
No, Sridhar.
No.
Understood, but timing and all same time, right?
Yes, same. Everything will be same. Everything will be same. Just we'll have a break for few days. I'll confirm the exact date in couple of days. Then you can start with your front end
Okay.
part. Yeah.
Okay, if timing is vary, I will get some problem.
No,
Yeah.
no, no. Same timing. Same timing. Same timings. No problem with that.
Okay, Sridhar. Understood. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
So you mean we don't need to attend from tomorrow, I mean, for a few days?
You'll not understand that, Abdul. You'll not understand. Okay. So just
Okay, okay,
take break for 4 5 days. Okay.
okay, okay, okay.
Practice this backend. If you have any doubts in the backend part, you can come up with that, or you send me a mail in next 4 5 days. I'll reply to that. Okay. Anyhow, last class Samar Reddy asked one question. I'm working on that Samar Reddy. Once I get the solution for that, I'll share that example. You asked about that update partner, update underscore NT set some methods you said. Okay. So I'll share that. Okay.
Okay, so are you showing an example with complex type?
Yeah, I'll send that also, Abdul. I'll send it. Okay, I'll send it with screenshots. Okay,
Okay,
yeah. So this integration will go for 3 days. So don't miss the tomorrow's class. If you miss the tomorrow's class, you will not understand next 2 3 days. Okay, those who already attend the front end part. Okay, because this is very important when you're projecting complete UI5 knowledge. Okay, so once we are done with that, we'll see how to develop your UEFI application in what? Web ID. Then we'll go for what? Fairy. Is it clear? Right? Right. So tomorrow onwards, we'll start with this integration. Dinakar, any questions?
Yes, Sridhar.
Yeah.
Regarding integration.
Sorry?
So, regarding integration.
Integration. Yeah, yeah. Tell me.
Integration. So, is it like, is there any configuration we need to do at
Nah,
the
nah,
backend? Plus,
nothing. Don't worry about any configuration. Okay. So we already
okay.
developed many services. You'll have the URL. Na?
Yes.
Okay, that
Yes. Yes.
that URL will directly use it in our front end application. As a developer, there is no special configuration we need to do. You need not worry about that. It is inbuilt.
Okay. Okay. For example, I have a service
Okay.
in which I am fetching some material master data,
Okay, done.
and I need to use that data and update some HANA Cloud tables. There are some tables which I have configured in HANA Cloud tables.
Okay.
So,
Hmm.
can I consume this OData service URL directly in that HTTP in that tables or like that, or do we need to do some configuration or some HCI is required, HANA Cloud integrations,
Yes,
cloud connectors or something like that?
yeah. For HANA Cloud integration, there is compulsory configuration required.
Okay.
We require that. Okay, but when you talk
Okay.
about this UI5 application, Fiori application, you don't require any additional configuration. But if you take Eclipse, Eclipse has got that inbuilt ANA server,
Okay.
Okay, so in that there is some configuration we need to do. To be fair, no, I'm not aware of that part, configuration part.
Okay. So for the HANA Cloud cockpit
Yeah,
integration or
we need to do some additional installations for that.
installations. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So configuration is required in both backend and front end, something like that,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Compulsory.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. No issues. Sir. Thanks. Sir.
But for UI5 application, whether it in Eclipse or Web IDE, we don't require any additional configuration. But if you take about HANA, yes, it requires configuration.
So for Web IDE and Eclipse, so we can directly call the URL and then
Yes.
we can consume the
Yes.
data.
Yes. We need to develop the front end view. In that, we can
Yeah.
access the data.
Okay. Wherever it can be in the controller, view
Yes.
controller, or wherever we
Yeah.
can
It can be view controller or component controller, anywhere.
open controller.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Thanks. Sir.
Right. Yeah.
That's it.
So what I suggest others is, others in the sense those already in the front end part, we assume that already we know the front end. So go through that binding, and go through that using what models. We discussed what models: XML model, JSON model, resource model. Okay, so here we are directly going to focus on what? OData model. But we should know the process, no? How do we instantiate that model? How do we load that model? How do we do the data mining? So just go through that examples what we discussed earlier so that you can understand this part. Okay? Right, so I'm not going to do any cut copy paste kind of thing. I'll do it from the scratch. Already I'm having the code, but still let me do it from the scratch so that you'll understand the entire flow. Okay, right, so I'll wind off. Tomorrow onwards we'll start by 7 o'clock. Okay, today the Eclipse got corrupted. Okay, so tomorrow we'll start with 7. Don't miss this because this is very important resume point of view also. Okay, so right, chalo then.